Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by In-Home Comfort Keepers In-Home Care and Advanced Audiology. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, who's running a few minutes late, but will be here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And our guests this morning are Margie Weiss of Oakmont Senior Living, and later in the hour we will be speaking with Nola Aronson of Advanced Audiology. Welcome, Margie. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you, Barbara. How are you?
I'm fine. How's Oakmont doing?
Oakmont's doing well. What's new? So we had our 1-year anniversary January 11th.
1 year already?
So,
good heavens.
Yeah, we did a Monte Carlo night for our residents and our families and our staff to just celebrate all that we've accomplished, which when I take that step back and look at it, we've accomplished so much.
Good heavens. Yeah. It's hard to believe it's been a year.
They say time flies.
Oh boy, does it ever.
But I think the most amazing thing is that we've gone from, a building to a community and a home.
And a home.
Again, I know I said it many times, but you look at the friendships that have been formed from resident to resident, staff to staff, but also resident to staff and family member to family member. They're there to support one another in the good times, in the not so good times. Because in a year, life happens.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Yes, it does. Have you lost many of your residents?
We've lost a few. And, each one, even though they may have only been there a short time, there's such a connection. I think the staff, speaking personally myself, we're taking on a family member. That's a huge responsibility. And they quickly become very close at heart. I think the care staff, it's even harder because it's such a personal, intimate relationship with some of them.
Well, they become part of you.
Absolutely.
When you're caring for them like that, they do. Yeah. They become part of you and part of your life, part of your existence.
Yeah.
And I would imagine it would be like losing a grandmother or a grandfather.
Definitely. And I'll have friends or just people ask me, how do you deal with that all the time? And what I really go back to is I'm so proud that at that last stage of life, for whatever reason, whether it was a healthcare reason, whether it was a choice because they didn't want to manage that home, but for whatever reason, Oakmont was kind of that last stop.
Their home.
What a beautiful, wonderful place to be and to be surrounded in beautiful surroundings and caring staff and these new friends. So, I find that silver lining.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with playing together, not only just living,
right,
but playing together.
Absolutely.
Going down to the lunchroom, maybe.
Right.
And sitting next to someone else that you've not sat next to before.
Right.
And picking up the conversations.
Right. And it's interesting because one of the new programs that we've started in 2017 is we've kind of revamped our activity program or our engagement program. And, yes, it's excursions and outings. Yesterday they went to the observatory. What a beautiful day to be at Griffith Park. But one of the areas that we're focusing on is connecting not only to each other, but to the community. And so every month we're going to pick a nonprofit in Santa Clarita, and our residents are going to volunteer and be able to give back. So, we've talked so much in the past about purpose. So this is a great way for residents to have purpose, for residents to be connected to each other and to be giving back. So this month, we got fabric and residents are making blankets, and I believe Family Promise or Bridge to Home. I can't remember. I think it's Bridge to Home. They're going to bring blankets. So our residents have taken the time they've socialized while they've made them, and then they're going to be able to present, to a nonprofit something that will benefit them. So they've got some great ideas. It might be animals one month. It might be seniors. It might be children. But it's going to be a nonprofit that is connected with Santa Clarita.
And so, in other words, they're becoming involved in the community.
Absolutely.
Not just the community of Oakmont, but the community of Santa Clarita.
Right.
So they know a little bit more about our community,
right,
which is a wonderful community.
Right. And many of our residents have lived here their whole life. I mean, there are some that came, because their adult children live here, but so many of them already are connected that it's a way for them to give back. And we're not just writing people off that, you're old and you need to be taken care of. But that's not true. Residents need to be taken care of somebody else as well.
That's right.
That purpose you had mentioned.
Well, hello.
Where's that voice coming from?
Better late than never.
That's true.
That's right.
But, you had mentioned purpose, and that's where they derive continuation of life. They need to understand that as they do things for themselves and give to others, that extends themselves out there.
Right.
Nothing more profound than that, to be able to do that.
So it's important to volunteer and to give.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they're participating, but, a lot of them, you've been open for a year now, and you're still, and here in this community, we're seeing individuals arriving at your doorstep, but they arrive there because they have had problems at home and staying in their homes. And there was an article recently written locally about one of our, not a senior person, but a person who went out for a walk in the early morning, and it was icy because it was so cold, but he slipped and fell. And, he hurt his hand and everything. But to me, when I fell for the first time, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago, I think it was, I was running and I fell. And I wasn't paying attention. That was the main thing. But that was a sign to me.
Wow.
That was a sign that said, you haven't done this before, but is this the beginning? And it hasn't happened again, knock on wood, but fact is that it could be. And there are signs out there that our seniors and caregivers are seeing in their loved ones that are saying, maybe things are starting to happen. What are some of the things that we should look for other than just falling? Falling's
a huge, and it's funny.
Huge.
I talk with residents, and we joke that that's the new F word. They don't want the word fall associated with them. I didn't fall. I tripped. I didn't fall. I lost my balance. So we don't use that word.
That's
if we can.
great.
Even though, did you end up on the floor? Then you probably fell.
Oh, wait. Well, something though,
but
isn't it? Is it? And if you're at home, living at home, and you say, "Oh yeah, it was a slip," I mean, is that an excuse? Because I was running down a hill, and squirrels were running. It was like a path up on not in the forest quite, but I was looking at these squirrels running around, so I ignored. But I went down, and that never would have happened.
Right.
But to me, that was a sign, and I fell. And I admit to that. And I read this article the other day, locally here, and I said, it's a sign.
It's a sign, we fall for different reasons. You weren't paying attention. You might have tripped over a squirrel or stepped on an acorn, or the sun got in your eyes. But for whatever reason, you fall. But
is it a sign?
Finding, yes, it is.
We'll analyze that. That's a tougher thing to think about, because there are other signs that are more pertinent and important when we start looking at our seniors living in their homes.
Right, and we've talked before. It's I think hygiene is a huge one. When someone's not keeping their hygiene up, if they always wore lipstick and had their hair done and all of a sudden they're not, or they're not getting dressed until 4:00 in the afternoon, or maybe not. They're not going and getting food.
Wait a minute. Once in a while, that's fun to do.
That is fun.
Not get dressed at all. Just stay in the nightgown and the housecoat.
Right.
I've done that.
And once in a while.
I love it. Oh.
Absolutely. But when it becomes a trend, when that becomes the norm,
that's right.
When the blinds are closed, when it's easier to just kind of isolate, if all we're eating is frozen dinners. That's not healthy eating.
Guys tend to do that.
Yeah.
Guys on their own, they buy the microwave and boom, let me find the sales.
And think that they're cooking. True. But that's a sign too. If they were, if they're not getting the nutrition, if you're seeing confusion, if there's scratches on the car that weren't there before, that's a big one. We won't even get onto that.
Or blood.
Blood, yeah. Ooh. That wouldn't be good.
That would not be good.
That would not be good. Are they keeping the housekeeping up? So,
are their pets okay?
That's a good one too.
Their routines, are they out of sync? And checking their medicines, have they been taken?
Right.
These are all kind of the clues. But admitting to saying it's not a fall, I slipped, is maybe okay, but you compound that with a whole bunch of other things, and it could mean trouble.
Right. And especially with seniors, not that you're a senior. But there's lots of reasons why we fall, and there's things that we can do to help prevent falls. We can't truly prevent a fall. They're going to happen, but taking a look around the house, are there throw rugs? Is the carpet stretched carefully? Is the step, maybe you need to put a piece of tape so that if it's a tri-level, there's a piece of tape that catches your eye so you know that the step is coming. When they're walking their dogs, do they have those leashes that extend 3 feet, or is it a set length? Because we've seen residents fall because the dog jerks, and then the leash goes and then they trip over the leash. If someone's on oxygen, do they have, a 10-foot cord that they can get tripped over? Bedspreads. I can't tell you how many times, you've got this beautiful bedspread that's on the floor and your toe gets stuck as you're walking around, and you know what? You end up on the ground. You fell. So it's things that you might not even be thinking or aware of, that you need to take a look at your loved one's house and make sure that you've made it as safe as possible. Yeah,
just a quick story about my mom, who's 95 years old. She comes over every few weeks, and as she walks up, there's one step that she has to negotiate, and she doesn't have a problem with it. But she always stops there and says, "You should put a reflective tape down there." And the last time she said, "It should be a police tape now because you haven't done anything." I said, "No, I don't want a police tape there." But, I've always thought, it's just one step and it's like 4 inches at the most. But, I said, "I'll always be here to get you up that step. So no worries." She says, "Still put a tape down there."
It's true. It catches your eye.
What's interesting is I have a problem with my walls jumping out at me. In other words, I'll start to go around a corner and I'll maybe not lose my balance or get too close and bang.
Bang. And your skin's probably a little bit more fragile, especially in the dry weather.
I'll get this red monster.
Right. Bruise.
Or either I'll scrape it.
Right.
But that happens to me more than enough.
Right.
And I have to be very careful because obviously it's my balance.
It could be your balance. It could be perception with vision. It could be your rushing. It could be a combination of those
Slow
things.
down, Barbara. I'm constantly telling myself to slow down.
Right. I mean,
but it hasn't happened before, so that's kind of a sign, because the walls are coming at me too. And even yesterday I said, I dinged a wall as I was walking at the hospital. I said, "What is this stuff?" My perception, I think, is okay, but that it's a sign. It's a sign.
I have to do a balance test on you.
I know.
But yeah,
I gotta walk in the middle of in the corridors now to be safe.
Yeah, it's those changes from what is normal, and it's so easy to push it aside and think it's a one time and it's not a big deal. But
admitting
that's
to
the
yourself
first step.
That, wait a minute, I'm getting older.
Yeah,
I need to pay attention.
And there's, those simple things that we can do to help prevent the F word. balance exercises and there's little activities that you can do. There's assistive devices that might help, different types of canes and walkers.
And I still say resistant training with weightlifting is
light repetition.
Bench pressing, military press. I don't know. There are just things that you can do.
Yes.
Barb knows this because this is what she does.
Right. But balancing on one leg.
Right.
Trying it.
Right.
In different positions with one leg and trying to stay steady.
Right.
Yeah, I do pretty good with that.
Very hard to do.
I do it pretty good at when I'm sleeping.
Oh, of
and
course.
laying down, right? Yeah. Right.
But standing on one leg is very hard to do.
Right.
And that really gives you a good indication that, I better start watching where I'm walking.
Right. And
my balance is
at
off.
night, we get up to go to the bathroom. We might not have a night light. Try standing on one leg with your eyes closed. It's a whole other perspective.
That's true.
So we encourage, at Oakmont, the bathroom floors are motion censored. So when a resident comes in at night, the light automatically comes on.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's a safety factor because that's a lot of times falls happen at night. We get up to go to the restroom. There might be something on the floor that we trip. We're not fully awake. Our perception is off because we're sleepy and it's dark. And the next thing we know, we're on the ground.
Well, the worst thing that happens to me is I get out of bed too quick.
Yeah.
And I cannot stop myself from doing it. All of a sudden, I'm thinking, wait a minute. And I have to sit back down and pull myself together and say, okay, let's do this a little slower.
Right.
And then I'm fine. But inevitably, I'll jump up out of that bed like, whoa, I've got to hurry up and run.
And not take that second. See, I still have the physical therapy in me.
That's right.
You can't take it out, can you?
When usually and typically if you're sleeping, you're jumping up to go to the bathroom. That's the big thing. And people get up and they go running. Other times it could be from the telephone, like if it's in the daytime.
Right.
And sometimes it's a doorbell.
Right.
So for all these activities, if you're sitting or lying down, be aware. Take a step back and don't get up too fast and run because you could go down from that.
Right. Absolutely.
So no, it's good that you're having preventiveness in your living situation, and I'm still firmly committed that homes should be senior friendly, and having a tile floor that is sensitive to motion in the bathroom, that's senior friendly to me. And there's so many other things we could probably do in a home that make it safe for our seniors, not only we're at Oakmont, but also at home.
In your own home, absolutely.
We should throw all these things together. And I tell you, if a developer comes here and wants to build homes, we should demand that they're senior-friendly homes. That's all we could. And how much more is it going to cost for them to do some of these things? I mean, it doesn't have to be in. You don't have to put a ramp in a home.
No.
You can just have it ramp adaptive, so that you can put if you need to put a ramp in, you're able to do it, as opposed to taking out your whole lawn or your porch or anything like that.
But even little things like having high counters and
correct,
lower
grab bars in the bathroom,
grab bars, wide doorways. That's a huge one. Somebody uses a walker or a wheelchair and they can't get through the door. That doesn't help. Or being able to maneuver through the home are all things that make sense.
And it's interesting because we build family homes here, but lots of times now the family has a senior member or a senior, like at our place without the tape in the front step. Right. With my mom, we need to have homes that are adapted, because they're going to be there. Our seniors are going to be there.
Yep.
If they happen to purchase a home, that's fine. But they're all going to need it. Just in case Barb and I are there sooner than we think. Right?
You always have a place with us. You know that. Yeah.
So what's happening? Any particular fundraising things going on or fun functions?
A lot of
Fun
knitting.
functions. We're going to do a chocolate extravaganza for
Ooh.
Valentine's Day because chocolate's always good. We're going to be working on our volunteer program this month. We'll be going and attending the Celebrity Waiter Dinner, supporting our senior center. So we have a table for that.
Good,
So
very good.
that'll take us through February. It's a short month. So, we have a big President's Day event coming up. I think George Washington is actually coming to speak.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wonderful.
So we've got that event. So if anyone's interested, they can certainly, call Oakmont. That's going to be a great event, the President's Day.
Is he going to
event.
wear his wooden teeth?
He might.
All right.
I don't know.
Chatter, chatter.
I'm not on that planning committee.
So how do we reach you?
So you can always call directly, 661-295-2025, or our website is oakmontofsantaclarita.com.
Oakmont of or Oakmont at?
Oakmont of Santa Clarita.
Interesting. I have at there.
Actually,
Uh-oh.
yeah, no. Oakmont
senior
of
moment.
No, it's Oakmont of
It's a
Santa
sign.
Clarita. It was a sign. Oh no.
Okay,
I better get it
Oakmont
in.
of Santa
Clarita.com.
Com. Okay.
And you can always stop by.
So you have no at in there. That's strange. Because it's usually something or other at
Oh, there's going to be.
The website, oakmontofsantaclarita.com.
Oakmont.
Yep.
Well,
So that's www. dot.
Yes.
I always forget that.
great having you on the show today.
Always fun to
Margie.
be here.
Yep, it's,
Thank you.
Great time for 1 year anniversary and moving forward to 2017.
Yes, we're
Isn't that
excited.
Knit those
Wonderful.
blankets.
1 year.
Stay away from the F word.
Yes.
I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.